This is my ultimate video camera rig. Over the years, as I've shot more and more freelance video work, whether it's weddings or commercial projects, I've constantly tinkered with my setup to get it to a point where it can meet any demands of my shooting sessions. And this is what I ended up with. Of course, this exact setup might not be perfect for you, but hopefully this might give you some ideas on how you could rig up your camera setup to fit your needs. All of the accessories we'll be using today will be linked in the description down below, so make sure to check those out. But otherwise, let's get right into it. At the heart of it all is my favorite video-centric mirrorless camera, the Sony a7S3. It shoots beautiful 4K footage with great dynamic range and in 10-bit 422. If you somehow haven't heard of this camera yet, I've got a review of it here. We're opting for the full cage since we're going to be making use of the plethora of attachment points. You're going to be seeing a lot of small rig accessories in this video, partly because they've sent some of these to me for free, but mostly because even before I got to work with them as a brand, I've been using their products for rigging my camera for over 8 years now. Seriously, I love the quality of their accessories. Next, we're going to be attaching a small rig wooden side handle. I have the screwed in version instead of the NATO rail version, mainly because I got this handle years ago before I realized how good NATO rails were for quickly attaching and detaching pieces. If you're going to get this side handle and plan on detaching it often, I'd opt to pick up the NATO rail version along with the NATO rail plate. But now, with this side handle, we can much more comfortably and stably operate the camera for handheld footage. Next, we're going to throw on a small rig NATO rail attachment on the top of the cage and then add a small rig wooden top handle. Then we'll slide in a 1/4-22 hot shoe adapter, and on top of that 1/4-20-inch screw, we're going to attach our camera monitor of choice. For me, honestly, I've been using the Godox GM6S the most since I reviewed it over 2 months ago. The brightness on this bad boy is just perfect for bright sunny days here in Florida. I love the slim build, and the screen is super sharp. Review on that is also available if you want to check it out. One thing I love about this top handle is this little safety latch on the top handle, which makes it so that way if your hot shoe somehow loosens during a shoot, it won't just slide off and end up destroying your camera monitor. And at this point, we've got a lightweight run and gun setup. If you need it to be even more lightweight, you can even quickly detach the top handle so you're just left with the cage and the side handle. But we're not done yet. Let's keep pushing this. At the bottom of this rig, I like to add this small rig archetype quick release plate so I can quickly mount it to any other archetype quick release system. But it has one very neat feature hidden up its sleeve. It has a compartment to add an AirTag. Now, personally, I haven't had a camera stolen from me. Knock on wood. But one of my friends, Andrew, had his camera stolen while he was working at a music festival, and that made me think, you know what, maybe I'll go ahead and add this as a just in case. If you like the idea of adding an AirTag to your camera, Small Rig also makes a different AirTag specific cage that you can just screw on to your camera cage that you don't have to mount below as a quick release plate. So if you want to check that out. Next, we're going to be adding a Small Rig compact V-mount battery mounting system by sliding the camera in and locking down the lever. This will let us mount any V-mount battery to our rig to power everything. And of course, we're going to be using a Small Rig V-mount battery here. For this rig, I'm using the 155 watt-hour version. I love their batteries because not only do you have a bunch of different options for powering your gear like USB-A, USB-C, DC ports, and a DTAP port, but it also has a really nice display on the back so you know exactly how much juice is left in your battery, and it even gives you information on the power draw of each port to monitor and make sure you're getting the right output. Now, you might notice that the flip-out screen of the a7S3 is protected and hidden behind the battery, but what if you want to use that screen, like to change or monitor settings? Well, fortunately, the V-mount battery mounting system has a locking knob you can unlock to move the battery down, flip out the screen, move the battery back up, lock it back down, and done. Now you can run it in this configuration as well. For cables, we're going to just need 3 of them. First, we're using a Condor Blue coiled HDMI cable to connect the camera monitor to the camera. Then we're going to use this Poicot 90-degree USB-C to USB-C 1-foot cable I found on Amazon to power the camera with the V-mount battery. And finally, I'm using a DTAP to DC cable from Hollyland to power the camera monitor with the V-mount battery. Next, for lenses, depending on what I'm shooting, I'll be bringing a different set. But in general, if I'm shooting a fast-paced event where I won't have much time to switch between lenses, I'd shoot with the Sony 24-70 f2.8 G Master. This has been my go-to lens for years now, and it really never disappoints. But if I know I'll have the opportunity to switch up my lenses, then my favorite combo right now is the Sony 24mm f1.4 G Master and the Sony 50mm f1.4 G Master. They're both super sharp lenses with gorgeous bokeh, and honestly, the results speak for themselves. On the front of the lenses, we'll be using the Freewell K2 magnetic VND system that I've also reviewed recently. I'm just a fan of how easy they are to use, and they're extremely necessary for me since I shoot a ton of outdoor content, and since it's so sunny so often, an ND filter is a must to meet the 180-degree rule of having my shutter speed at double my frame rate. Lastly, depending on if I'm using the audio from the event, I throw on an on-camera shotgun mic like the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus on the wooden handle. And that's it. That's my ultimate video camera rig. The weight of this setup works extremely well for stabilizing my handheld shots. The ergonomics makes shooting more comfortable, whether it's the wooden side handle for regular shots or the top handle for low angles, and even just so I can hold it by my side comfortably between shots during a long shoot. I can swivel around the camera monitor depending on if I'm shooting a client project or if I'm filming myself like right now for YouTube. I can very quickly throw this on a tripod using an Argus type quick release system. I can break down and set up the entire rig in about a minute with just a single tool. That way I can quickly get it mounted to a gimbal or a slider. And the biggest benefit is that I can power my entire rig for around 4 hours with just a single small rig V-mount battery. Meaning if I'm shooting an 8-hour event, all I need is 2 of these batteries and I'm good to go. If you need less runtime than that, or like let's just say you want to keep the weight of the rig down, you can also instead opt to use their 50 or 99 watt-hour battery versions instead. Overall, I've been experimenting with tons of different rigging options over the years, and I'm happy to share that while there is always room for improvement, this is finally a version of the setup that I'm like stoked to share with you guys. Remember that this exact setup may or may not be what you're looking for, and that's cool, but hopefully you found something new for your own setup from this video. Again, if you're interested in checking out any of the accessories I talked about today, links are all in the description down below. And yes, they're affiliate links, but they don't cost you anything. And if you're a fan of taking some money out of Jeff Bezos' pocket and donating them to me, well, thank you. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more, you know the drill, like, subscribe, and the whole shebang. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.